How's it going, everybody? Danny Naz back with another Elliott wave video. So a couple of weeks ago, I introduced you to my take on Elliott wave theory, how Elliott wave theory frames the chaos, ride the waves, ride the market waves. We talked about how most traders think about price action as noise, but that inside that chaos there's actually a rhythm, and that rhythm is what I call Elliott wave theory. So there's not a lot of traders that use Elliott wave, and I think for good reason. It's pretty complicated, a lot of rules, and I think most people just avoid it. And a lot of people tend to think of it as like voodoo magic, right? And it's because it works, right? It works, but when you don't understand something that works, it kind of looks like black magic, right? But what I did with that video, and I highly encourage you to go back, and I'll link it down below, to go back to that video and watch it, because I'm not professing to be an expert in Elliott wave theory, but what I've learned over the last few years is how to decipher the waves and how to understand where you are in respect to the wave count. And you don't need to be an expert. I think anywhere from novice to intermediate level knowledge of Elliott wave theory will give you an edge in terms of at least knowing where you are in respect to the count, or the Elliott wave count. So what I'm going to do with this series of videos, you can see here on the right hand side, I've got a watch list of about 40 to 50 names, and every single one of these names I have an Elliott wave count on, and every week I add a few more. And my goal really is to have around 100 names that I have what I think to be solid wave counts. Most of these are going to be impulsive wave moves to the upside. I don't, in a bull market, I tend not to look at weak names. It doesn't make sense. In a bear market, for sure, you want to look at weak names. But when the market is really strong, it doesn't make sense to trade to the downside. You're really counter trend trading, and that's what gets a lot of traders in trouble. So anyway, I've spent a couple of minutes introducing this video. Long story short, I want to use this series to go through each and every one of these charts. I'm going to try and keep these videos to around 10 to 15 minutes. We'll get through as many as we can, and then we'll stop, and then a week or two down the road, I'll go back and pick up where I left off. So think of this as a multi-video Elliott wave series, kind of my start to how I can teach my way of reviewing Elliott wave. So let's get into the chart. So first up, we have Apple. All right, so let me just grab my little annotation tool here. So the first thing I notice here on Apple is a pretty clear 5-wave move up. That's your wave 1. And then a little bit of a choppy, messy slop, wave 2 here, right inside of this range box. And it's more likely right here, right? You kind of got an A, B, C type of move, right? Just a flat correction, right? And then you start into wave 3. And in wave 3, every impulse wave up, wave 1, wave 3, wave 5, has a 5-wave advance to the upside. And so what I'm focused here on Apple is in this wave 3. Now, when I first did this count, it was right at around here, right? I kind of saw the 1, 2 setup, and I had the 2 count here. This 2 really should be over here. So let's go ahead and fix that. And that's the one thing about Elliott wave. A lot of the times the count may look one way until you get more information, and then you just need to revise the count. So really this 1, 2 started, probably back here. This was 1 here, and then this was 2 right here, right? And then you have wave 3, which tends to be your bigger advance, and this is pretty much what we're seeing. And then what do we normally look for a wave 3 acceleration? It tends to be a breakaway gap, and that's exactly what we see here. So this is really the start of wave 3 of 3, right? Because this is your bigger scale wave 3, And then inside of this bigger scale wave 3, there's going to be a 5-wave move to the upside, right? So here's 1, 2, and here's wave 3. So this is 3 of 3. And inside of 3 of 3, you're getting a gap up. So this was like almost textbook, picture perfect, and outside of that, the breakaway gap, it broke over 214, which was showing as resistance for multiple weeks. So this is a really nice entry here. And again, the wave 3 advance, I was looking for a 1272 extension to the upside at 284. We're well on our way there. And remember, in any move to the upside, whether you're looking at it through Elliott waves lens or some other type of edge lens, there's always going to be advances and pullbacks, advances and pullbacks, advances and pullbacks as you move to the upside and achieve price targets. Now, this was prior all-time highs, so that I think should be our ultimate target initially, right? So maybe this is 1, 2, maybe wave 3 stops here, and then you get some sort of triangle 4, and then wave 5 of 3 comes up to 284, right? And then ultimately we get a bigger, triangle correction before our final 5-wave move up. But as time goes on, as more information presents itself, then we will dig deeper into the wave count. But for now, this was a pretty good count. We caught the move to the upside, and I do believe within the next 1 to 2 weeks we will test all-time highs, and then we'll take it from there.